All right, so we got some breaking news here, folks. It just broke tonight. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted. I wasn't sure this was going to happen, folks. This doesn't often happen when we see people this high up get indicted. So I'm a little shocked, to be honest with you. How about you guys? Do you think you'll see any jail time? How about Brennan, Clapper? I don't know. We're going to have to, I guess, back up some of the other guests. But let's go to Leo Holman real quick here with this breaking story tonight. Leo, welcome back to the broadcast. I would never have guessed this was going to happen. You hardly ever see any of the big dogs in Washington and the deep staters, et cetera, ever go to jail. I think the last time we saw this was like Watergate or something, right? I mean, when was the last time we saw maybe Webb Hubbell, but he was an assistant AG, right? An FBI director? Wow. What do you make of this? 2 counts. One's lying to Congress. The other one was what? Obstruction of justice?
Yeah. I mean, this has been rumored for days, Brandon. So I felt like there was going to be an indictment, but I'm surprised that they are charging him with obstruction as well as lying to Congress. This is pretty major stuff. So this is something that could get him, I'm thinking 6 months to a year behind bars, which is shocking, frankly. I thought they might hit him with just lying to Congress and, he would get off with no prison time, maybe some probation, if that, a slap on the wrist. But no, it looks like they're going for somewhat of the jugular here. The question is, will this be used as, sort of the scapegoat, take down one big dog, James Comey, and call it a day? That way the administration can never be accused of not going after anybody, but yet they don't really clean the swamp either by going after people like Brennan and Clapper and maybe the Clintons, and there's so many other characters that could be arrested, let's face it. But that all remains to be seen, Brandon. Right now, it's James Comey's day in court coming up, and we'll see what happens. How do we know that he'll even be convicted? Until we see the day in court and justice rendered, we still can be, I think, dubious and critical of what this may actually represent.
Wow. Here we go. Pam Bondi, she says that no one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. I guess she's referring to Comey, although she doesn't use his name.
I mean, he was one of the most outspoken and despicable characters in the whole Russiagate scenario. He popped off at the mouth. He wrote a book. I mean, he must have thought he was above the law to have said so much of what he said after he was out of office. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's some of what gets used against him. He was very arrogant and very, very unwise to be so loose-lipped as a former FBI director. But, Comey never struck me as a highly disciplined man, even when he was operating inside the government. So clearly, when he got outside the government, he thought, okay, I'm going to make millions on a book deal. Now I'm going to talk, and chirp like a canary. And I think, that is what could end up being his undoing.
Well, and now we've got, reportedly, I guess, Kash Patel said everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held to account no matter their perch. No one is above the law. Today, our FBI took another step in its promise of full accountability. For too long, previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions and severely eroding public trust. Every day, we continue the fight to earn that trust back. And under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. Nowhere was this politicalization of law enforcement more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, a disgraced chapter in history we continue to investigate and expose, end quote. So maybe there's more coming, Leo?
Yeah. I mean, we can only hope, right? If we do see Brennan and Clapper taken down, I think that will be a good day for America. I really do.
Wow. So
Yeah. Clapper for one outright lied to Congress when he said that the NSA was not spying on Americans without warrants. And he lied on several other occasions as well with regard to the Russiagate affair. So I would really like to see Clapper taken down. And then you've got John Brennan, who is another despicable character who once voted for communist Gus Hall for president in the 1970s, rumored to have possibly converted to Islam during his serving time in the CIA overseas. A very, very slimy character who is got lots of blood on his hands. In countries around the world, would not mind seeing him be taken down whatsoever.
Can I remind you what Charlie Kirk said about Comey on May 15th? Here's his tweet. James Comey held himself up as a bastion of fairness and moral rectitude. Now he makes cringe posts like a childless 50-year-old liberal woman on Facebook. The entire country should be grateful Trump put this weirdo out to pasture. Charlie Kirk, his Twitter feed from May 15th of this year. There you go. Let's also not forget, he's just one of those guys that I'm sure was very unpopular in high school, just an arrogant guy, the kind of guy you would not want to have as your boss or your neighbor. Listen to this.
No, he was a giant of a man, stands about 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody wanted to cross him in high school.
Yeah.
But I don't think he used that for good.
No, I don't either. I don't think so. Here, listen to this.
In January of 2017, to tell President Trump about the Steele dossier, how did you tell him that there was and I want to put this delicately, pee-pee tape? How did you tell him about that rumor?
I spoke about information, unverified, that related to an allegation that he was with prostitutes in a hotel in Moscow and that the Russians had videotaped it. I didn't go into the rest of it. I thought that was notice enough. And
So you didn't mention the salacious detail of the two prostitutes getting up on the bed that the Obamas had stayed in because it was the presidential suite, engaging in some water play. You didn't mention that at all.
I thought I'd served enough notice without going to that part.
Okay. And what did he say when you told him about this?
He denied it. He interrupted me and denied it in pretty strong terms and asked, I assumed rhetorically, whether he looked like a guy who needed the services of hookers. And then... Okay. All right. Let's keep on going. Just so you know, the people out there know, I actually went to that room. I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton Moscow. I went to that room. We rented that room, which is really all you need to do. Now, you're an investigator. Did anyone from your office ever go to that hotel and look at that room? Not while I was director.
Okay. I don't know anyone from the press who went, you're an investigator. Would you like to ask me anything about that room? Ask me anything about that room.
Is it big enough for a germaphobe to be at a safe distance from the activity?
The bedroom is very long. It's very long. You could definitely be out of what we call at SeaWorld the splash zone. Okay.
All right. So all that talk there, is that what they were accused? The story was that these prostitutes were urinating on the bed, right?
That's my understanding.
And what? I mean, why would I don't even like reporting on this, but why the FBI, the former FBI director, goes on late night television, engages in this kind of conversation and talk, which it all turned out to be, from what we were told, 100% false. I mean, what does this tell you about this man?
Well, that's what I mean by loose lips. I mean, even if he believed that story, wild story, to be true, why would he go on national TV if he doesn't have absolute proof of it and start talking about it and making accusations and insinuations, and that little smirk that he makes there to make it sound like, oh, it's even worse than I can speak about, that's just despicable. That is a low integrity individual right there on full display. And now I'm afraid it's going to come back to haunt him.
I think he even talked about President Trump going to prison as well. Let me see. Listen here.
So you've made a very clear statement there already. You do think this actually is a completely pivotal election. Is that because you imagine things turning a certain way if Donald Trump was to regain presidency?
I think if Donald Trump became president again, it would be very bad for all kinds of reasons in the short run. It would also delay the cleansing that we need to get to a place where we have two healthy political parties in the United States. I think with his defeat, which again, I'm optimistic about, the Republican Party will begin what will be a long process of getting to a healthier place and actually representing ideas and proposals and becoming a healthy antagonist for the Democratic Party.
I mean, you talk about that two-horse race, that healthy two-party system, as you just sort of described it. We have had, obviously, independents running in this election, RFK Jr. being one of them, and he actually stopped being an independent in order.
Let me skip ahead.
But they have to be committed to the things.
I want to see if he actually says something about.
And listening to you
Trump
saying that, some people might be confused otherwise, but you were up until the point of.
Themselves a Republican these days. Themselves a Republican these days.
Yeah.
Do you notice he's wearing women's eyeshadow?
No, I did not, Leo. Oh,
Look
well,
closely.
somewhere in here, he supposedly talks about Trump going to prison. I don't know.
Participate in this election.
And, you know, in previous months when I've been covering his court cases, I've been interviewing people from the Republican Party and Trump supporters who've talked, of course, about what they call lawfare, which is this idea that the justice system is being weaponized to prevent him from running for president or to put him behind bars. And there was original discussion about that galvanizing his base, making his support more strong. Do you think that theory still holds?
Yes. And it's at the heart of his famous line about I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose supporters. And the reason for that is just sort of the nature of fraud victims. Is I've done cases where the victims of a fraudster came to his sentencing after he had admitted his guilt to speak on his behalf, because it's very, very hard for people to turn away, to admit what they'd have to admit about themselves when they turn away from a candidate. And if January 6th didn't cause Trump supporters to turn, I don't know what would turn the core group. Human beings just can't take the kind of pain that requires the admission about yourself and how you were fooled and a fool. So it doesn't surprise me that his legal troubles have bound a lot of people more tightly to him. That's just the way humans work.
Will we see him behind bars at any point?
I think there's a real possibility of that. I think there's actually a possibility he's going to get a jail sentence on September the 18th in Manhattan. And when he would serve that and how that will work exactly, they'll have to sort out. But if convicted of the federal offenses, he's going to get a jail sentence unless if President Biden pardons him or future President Harris pardons him. So, yes, I think there's a significant likelihood that he will end up in jail.
Wow. I'm glad I stuck with it, was patient to find that in that 8 minutes and 57 seconds. How ironic is this tonight, Leo?
Extremely ironic. Extremely ironic. You know, I think that was his hope of hopes, that he could put the one man who had the power to put him in jail, himself in jail. It didn't happen, as we all know. The cases against Donald Trump all fizzled. And now Comey is hanging out there on a limb, waiting to be plucked off. And that's what we saw happen today. Again, I'll be watching closely to see if he pleads guilty, goes to trial. And if he does plead not guilty and goes to trial, will a jury actually convict him?
Where will this be held, you think? D.C.? Where is this going to be? Anyone know?
I would imagine D.C., but I don't have any insight.
How do you? I mean, it's such a liberal area.
Yeah. I mean, good luck. It could be one of these situations where the Trump administration knows it's under intense pressure. Pam Bondi has come under a lot of criticism. Where are all the arrests that they promised? This could be a situation where they make an arrest knowing that they won't get a conviction. I hope that's not the case. I hope that they've done their homework and that they can somehow get a jury panel that is uncompromised and unbiased, and that justice is served.
All right, let's switch real quick. James O'Keefe, here is what he put out yesterday. World exclusive bombshell. Senior DOJ Epstein investigator reveals Epstein was CIA, confirms rapes occurred while Bill Clinton was on the plane, says of President Trump, he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there. I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and the rapes occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. The DOJ didn't want to go after him, Epstein, because he's an asset for the United States and Israel. It's not talked about yet, but it's soon to come out that Epstein was a CIA informant. Listen to just a little bit of this, and we'll get a response from Leo.
It's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA.
He was a CIA. I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people. Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax, the case is like a hoax or something. I mean, come on, you know it's not a hoax. He's been on the plane, many times. Mm-hmm. It's just he was never on the plane with the kid. I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. While the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025, a senior Justice Department investigator who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for
All right, so that's enough of that. I don't know whether any of that's true or not. I don't know who that guy is that they are talking about, but that's all.
He is a senior Justice Department investigator.
Do you believe any of this to be true, or are you like me? You just don't know.
You never know for sure, but typically, if we just want to go by track record, if James O'Keefe says it, you can take it to the bank.
Wow. Well, I get tired of reporting on this kind of thing, but it's out there and it's in the news and it's been tweeted and it's been up and it's been seen by almost 8 million people. So we kind of have to report on it. I don't know if any of this is true or not. We'll just have to watch it play out. And President Clinton's available. If he wants to come on here, he can come on here. Any of the other people want to come on here, they're welcome to come on here, give their side. James O'Keefe's welcome to come on here. I don't know. James O'Keefe, do you really want to be out there doing this? I mean, it seems a little dangerous to me, but maybe he likes this kind of work. James, maybe.
I think
because
he
it seems
does.
like it could be dangerous for your personal health.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he said clearly that if you can watch the rest of the video, which I have the entire video posted at my Substack with a short article tonight, that Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious pedophile, was an asset of the United States government and the government of Israel.
The government of Israel as well. What more
Yes.
do they say about that? Do they go into much detail about that?
Not a lot. Just that he worked with the intel agencies of those two countries.
And how do you think this is going to play when it comes to more backlash on Israel?
It can't be good, can it?
It can't be good. No. But this is why we always say, I don't sit here and defend the government of Israel. I don't care for the government of Israel. The government is much more than I do my own federal government. I love the United States of America. I'm patriotic. I love my country, my history, my heritage, and many, many, many of the American people. And I say the same thing about the folks in Israel. I love the nation, their history. They have a right to the land biblically and historically. I love the people. I'm opposed to anti-Semitism. I understand what God's plan is going to be ultimately for many of the Jewish people, but I wouldn't trust their government that much either, even more than I trust mine. And this would be a perfect example if it is true. But haven't we had major government officials in Israel say no, he was not working for the Israeli government?
Well, of course they would, right?
Right. Of course they would. So I guess we'll see where this goes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other thoughts tonight before we conclude?
That's it. It was a wild news day today, Brandon. So much was breaking. My head was spinning by the end of the day. And here we are. with finishing it up with these two major breaking stories.
They are big stories. And Leo's got a brand new article tonight. LeoHolman.substack.com, LeoHolman.substack.com. Thank you, Leo, for jumping in here tonight with this breaking story. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back after this very short break.
We live in uncertain times. In fact, we live at a time when our own governments all over the world are warning us that there could be big problems with our power grid. World War III seems to be right on the horizon. Let me ask you this. Do you have a satellite phone? Should communications go down with cell towers? Do you have a satellite phone to get a hold of that college student or your spouse who travels, whatever it might be, to get a hold of your senior adult parents? We have satellite phones at worldviewtalk.com, and you get the satellite phone for free when you sign up for their very reasonable payment programs for the service. Sign up for the service with a reasonable contract, get the satellite phone for free. Worldviewtalk.com. You'll also find they have, well, what I now have, which is a solar generator. Yeah, I have a gas generator, an LP propane generator, but what if that goes down? I want to back up to my backup. So I now have a solar generator as well. You'll find them at worldviewtalk.com. Check it out today, worldviewtalk.com.